Subs on aux. If you've never heard that before, it's going to be a little strange. I avoided doing subs on aux for quite a while just because it was a foreign concept. But think about the way that you get information to your subs. You literally have no control over what goes to your subs. And in many cases, you don't have a lot of control over the actual volume of your subs, depending on your speaker setup and your processing. Most things these days are, powered tops and powered subs, and you usually come left, right out of your system, out to your subs, link through a high-pass filter in the subs up to your top cabinets. And that would be a pretty basic club system or band system. And if you were to turn up any channel on your mixer, all of those channels are going to be going to your subs. Simple question, why would you want your voice to go to your subs? Or why would you want your overheads, or at least your overhead microphones, to potentially send information into your subwoofers? Of course, if you're a good engineer, you're going to put high-pass filters on that would keep most of that from happening. But even if you've got something, rolled off at 120 on a vocal, there's still potential to get information down into your subs, depending on where it's crossed over. A lot of smaller systems are crossed over at 100 or 120, and you can certainly get information down to the subwoofers that you just don't want, that doesn't sound good, and that certainly clutters up and muddies up your mix, especially in a room. So the concept of subs on aux really does fix that. So the first thing that I do is go in and set up my auxiliaries over here in the Mix 2 section in the lower right menu. And I just label bus 6 as a sub, and you have to right click here. That's going to jump off the screen so you can't see it, but I'm sure you'll know how to do that. And I label that as a sub, and this auxiliary bus, or aux 6 out of my XR18, is where I would plug my subs up to. So I'm only going to get a signal to my sub just like I would if I was mixing a monitor. I get to select what goes there. Okay, I also make sure that I label my mains in red. And since my sub is part of my mains, I label that in red. And of course, I have a combinator across my left-right, so effects number 4 here is labeled in red, and that's just my way of making sure that it's really evident where all of my main sources are. So the first thing we want to do to be able to mix subs on aux number 6 is to make sure that all of the sends for aux 6 are post-fader. Unlike monitor mixes where you're going to want those pre-fader, so that adjusting the volume of your mix down here on your faders does not affect your monitor mixes. So we're going to have to go up for every channel to our sends and make sure that bus 6 is post-fader. And that is so that when you turn down your kick in your left-right, you're actually turning it down in the bus 6 mix. Again, unlike what you're doing up here for your monitor mixes 1 through 4. So go through each. All right, and all the way through all 16 here. And now you've got all 16 channels. And don't forget your iPod. If you don't get that, you'll have no subwoofer. Or actually, you'll have a lot of subwoofer because it's going to be going at full tilt. So keep that in mind. Everything has to be post-fader on your aux 6. All right, so now let's come back and analyze how we use this. The beauty of subs on aux is the fact that you're only sending to your sub exactly what you want. We definitely want kick. So I'm going to go ahead and get a rough mix to my sub. And so now I've got kick going to the sub, but I can't hear it because it is attached to this. It's post-fader. So if I've already done my sound check, or as I'm doing my sound check, I'll get the mix to my main left-right, and then I'll add it to the sub. I'll continue to get my mix, but for snare, I'm not going to send it to the sub. My toms come up, I hear those well, and then to add the low end, I'll pull this up and blend aux6 as needed to get that into the subwoofer. Again, the beauty of sub on aux is that I'm not going to have any chance of any of these microphones to get to my subwoofer. Obviously, we're going to want bass, so I'm going to get that bass mix up. I'm going to pull this across. Probably don't want any guitar. May want keys if it's something like a piano or an 88-note instrument. If it's a 61-note keyboard, I probably would not do that. But just analyze that for yourself if you're going to need that. And of course, voice. We're not going to need any vocals in our subwoofer. And again, don't forget to get your iPod into the subs so that your music sounds good. And again, realize it's all going to be attached to this. That's it. Think about the concept. If you're not using it, you really should think about it, implement it, and try it. It's a much better way to clean up your mix and keep a lot of the low-end problems from happening by sending everything out your left, right to your subs. There is one issue that I think Behringer could make a little easier when, since I've got my bus 6 labeled in red, I would love to see these in red as a reminder or a separation, visual separation from all the others. And in my case, I've got my monitors labeled monitor 1, 2, 3, and 4 in yellow. I would love to see these color coordinated based on that. It would be a really good graphical representation of what we've already set up over here. The other thing you have to look out for is right now on the XR series, Behringer does not have a way to link the bus 6 master to the left-right. That can be done in the X32, and if you're mixing subs on aux on an X32, you're probably using the mono bus to do that, which is just an extra bus that you can assign anything to. Works very similarly to this, but in a setup preference, you can link the sub master to the left-right. So here's one thing to look out for. If you were for some reason to turn down your left-right very, very low like so, your subs would still be going at full volume, and you would have a real big issue with the overall blend. So you have to keep that in mind. If you were to adjust this dramatically, you're going to expose a very high level of sub, and you would literally need to come here and pull this master down. So you can see the reasoning for wanting to link this sub 6 master to your left-right so that they are in unison as you pull those up and down. So I'm sure that's something that they will implement for all the guys that want to mix subs on aux. If you have any question, let us know on our YouTube channel and check out our Facebook user group, Behringer XR.